Welcome to the Young Bucks Podcast, episode number 104. My name is Henry. I'm here with my brother Chris.
Hello.
And today we have a very special episode for you. Thank you for the recent support on Instagram, YouTube, the audio platforms, whatever you're listening on. We really appreciate it. If it's your first time here, thank you for joining. Whoever, either sent you or however you found us, we're happy to have you here today. If you are watching on video, our lights are broken. They're dead. They don't work. This is a discovery made today, so it's a little dim, but it's all good. It's all good. NBA playoffs. I have been lacking on my story posts. I'm not gonna lie, but we're past the first round now. First round is over. No, it's not. There's still one game left.
Mm-hmm.
Magic and Cavs got a game 7, but
Yes.
The Mavericks closed it out last night.
Mm-hmm.
My bracket that I made is not doing very well. Chris's is doing pretty good, apparently.
Very well. Except for the Mavericks losing. But other than that, my bracket's been doing very, very well.
The Mavericks won.
Or Mavericks winning, yes, sorry. The Clippers losing.
lost. Yeah.
The Clippers losing. Really ruined my bracket. But, nonetheless, my bracket's doing well.
Good. Yeah, I had the... I didn't really expect... I'm excited because of Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
He's, exploding. And I didn't expect that from the Timberwolves. I honestly kind of doubted them, and I picked the Suns, which... Terrible mistake. Suns got spanked, as some would say. Or just...
To say lightly, they got
swept.
Yeah.
They got obliterated. It was an abysmal series for the Phoenix Suns.
It was abysmal. That's probably the perfect word for it. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Something's going to have to change.
Yeah. We've been talking about, their roster's just terrible. A lot of teams.
Outside of the two top 10 players in the NBA. But other than that, their roster is terrible.
Well, the
construction.
the team, the way the team would operate.
Yeah.
But, owner, it's his first full year.
You can't blame him for making the Kevin Durant trade, because I feel like if Kevin Durant is on the table, you make the trade for him. However, I don't think the Bradley Beal trade was the right one.
Yeah, they probably could have gone without that. Is that where they gave up DeAndre Ayton, or did they give him up in the Damian Lillard trade?
That was the Damian Lillard trade.
The Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard.
I think
was
so.
all one.
I think it was all one.
Yeah.
Because I think Dame, Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Bradley Beal. Oh no, I think Bradley Beal was his own trade.
I do too, because there's Chris Paul.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think if they just needed a point guard. But other than that, nonetheless, the Suns are trash. The Timberwolves are the best team. They're probably gonna lose to the Nuggets, but if they don't, that's okay too. Because
Game 1 is tonight.
Game 1's tonight. I think that's the only game on tonight.
It might be.
Because a lot of the other teams have taken a while to get to the spot they're in. We might see. No, I don't think the Pacers. I think they play Monday. The Pacers and Knicks. So
I did so bad in the first round, and Chris did so good that I think the Knicks have to win the championship in order for me to win the jersey.
yeah, it's
Because I don't want to say the Celtics are a lock to go to the conference finals, but that would significantly help me if the Knicks if the Celtics lost in the second round to either the Magic or the Cavs. Even though I had Boston, Chris has Boston in the finals, so that would help.
And I got the series is correct for a lot of them.
Yeah. So if you don't know, last year we did a bracket challenge for the NBA playoffs, and whoever won, the loser had to buy a jersey for the winner. And so I got a Jimmy Butler jersey last year because they were in the finals, and I wanted them to win. They did not.
No.
But now opportunities on the table again for a jersey winner. So I almost got Shea last year, which that would have been
nice for this year.
Yeah, that would have been cool for this year. Because I was a Shea fan before they were the 1 seed.
Yeah, I currently have 2,000 points in the NBA.com bracket.
I think I have like 1,400, 1,200
So-
or 1,400.
Yeah, and I would have 2,400 had the Cavs won last night, but they did not. Orlando Magic played the song. I'm happy to see them win. But if I could at least get the points for the Cavs winning, I would appreciate that.
Yeah. That would be good for you.
I would. So I'm hoping this year, because I'm notoriously either very good or very bad at picking brackets. I think this year I'm down the course of very well. I had years that I picked the right conference finals, like all the way from the beginning, and then eventually the championship matchup, and then I've had years where, like last year, I got like 2 of the 8. There's 8 teams. How many move on? 4 in each conference, so 8 teams that move on. So I got like 2 of the 8 teams that move on correctly last year, and so yeah, I'm gonna really just hope that um, this is a good year and I can win the jersey.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really want to pay for it, so I'm kind of hoping that I want the Knicks to win the finals.
Right.
So it's two for me.
And it just like does not feel like they will, but then you think about it and you're like, well, you could kind of see them doing it.
Yeah.
And so I hope that well, for me, I hope that I get all of the rest of my picks correct, and so that that if the Knicks do go to the finals, I can still enjoy it. But
So, how many teams are legitimately like a contender that's left? You got like the Celtics.
I think everybody except Indiana and Cleveland and the Magic. If whoever wins Cleveland Magic, I think everyone else is a contender. Besides that series.
So like you could see
Indiana.
Boston, New York, OKC, Dallas, Denver, and Timberwolves all possibly hoisting the trophy at the end of the year.
Yes.
Who out of them
I
is
cannot
the least
see,
likely?
I cannot see Indiana. I cannot see Tyrese Halliburton holding up the trophy at the end.
That's
with
fair.
all due respect. I think Indiana's got a great team. No disrespect to Mr. Pat McAfee. No disrespect to anybody who's a fan of Indiana. I'm actually a fan of the Pacers. Like, I would like to see them win.
I know
However,
where this is going. Unfortunately, I know where this is going.
So no,
kidding.
I don't see them hoisting the trophy, nor do I see Cleveland. So, who is the least likely?
Yeah, out of the other 6, who's the least likely?
The Thunder.
Yeah.
I think either the Thunder or the Knicks.
Or is it the Knicks? Because like the Knicks, I mean, if you
It
look at
might
the rest,
be the Knicks because like the rest of the teams look really good, and so do the Knicks. I don't know, dude.
it's hard to say.
In the end, it's just gonna be Boston and Denver. But
I don't really want to watch that, to be honest with you.
I'm cool if Boston loses it. I'll watch it. But
Back-to-back finals for Jokic.
like, what if the Pacers like just come out?
Pacers sweep the Knicks. You gotta think like,
take Boston to 7.
unfortunately, there's like injuries, like so,
Right.
which I mean they've capitalized on.
Which and exactly. People are like, if they had Giannis. I mean, me being people. If they had Giannis, they're not winning. But it's like they don't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it's just the way it is.
I think the Suns were without Grayson Allen, so that probably
That really hurt them.
put a damper on their.
Grayson Allen actually did play really, really well this year. However,
Got the bag.
he did right before he got injured.
So crazy. I remember watching him in college.
For
And-
like 5 years in a row.
Yeah, he played like 4 or 5 years, and he's having a long, like,
NBA career.
yeah, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So earlier this week, you had the opportunity and luxury and pleasure to go
I think it's just
test
a
out your
privilege.
public speaking skills.
Privilege, if you ask me.
A privilege?
Yeah.
What did I not say privilege?
I think he said, I don't know what he said, but it was a privilege.
So, you got to speak. Lay the scene. What'd you do?
Lay the scene. I am 1 year out of high school. I graduated about a year ago. The seniors at our old high school have 1 week of school left.
We're begging for you to come in.
And so one of the teachers there decided to ask me, after a conversation I had with her, she asked me if I wanted to come and speak to them. And I said, speak to them about what? And she said, oh, just come in and tell your story. And she also told me some other things to talk about as well. But it's much more funny when I just say tell my story. To me, at least. And so I did that. I did that on Tuesday.
Nice.
And so... This is football! Are you excited?
Was that last week?
That was last weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we did already talk about it.
Okay.
And so... What was I talking about?
You went to speak in a class.
Yes. And so the speech is something that I prepared for. I was struggling to figure out how to not relate my story, but to, I guess, in a way, teach it. I don't know, to kind of bring it up. And so I used like answering, or I used questions. That's how I started. Was kind of like asking questions and whatnot. It went very well back here when I was practicing in front of the TV. Felt like I was giving a real lecture. Yeah.
TV liked it?
Yeah, I was giving a real lecture, it felt like. But then when you get like into the room, it did not go nearly the way that I expected.
A little nervous?
No. Mainly just in the fact that, no.
A little scared?
I could not have been less scared. It was mainly just the fact that like I got no participation.
It can be tough.
And then like, so I wish I would have went about this a different way, but like I asked the first question and I got like no hands, and the only question I asked was like, how many of you know what you're doing next year?
Nobody raised their hand?
I got like a couple of these. And then I was like, okay, how many have no idea what they want to do next year? I got like a couple more. And so then I turned to the whiteboard and I grabbed the pen and I write vulnerability. I wrote that on the board. I was like, what do you guys think of when I say this word, vulnerability? And then like I heard like people were like bad, and then I heard some people say like, oh, it's good. And then I just like, for some reason I completely just like disregarded that whole thing. Like I started telling them, like, I didn't ask for anybody's like direct input on like what they thought of it, or like to give. And I keep, every time I think about it, I'm like, dang it, dude, why didn't I like ask them to like talk about what they think of it? Like it was just like a general question. I wish I got more specific with like individual people.
Well, maybe you wouldn't have got an answer
right anyway. And so like I went in, I kind of like hit the surface level of like what vulnerability looks like. And so, and I had no plan on doing that, but I was like, we need to be vulnerable in here. And so, that kind of helped.
So what did you talk about?
So I basically talked about how being on my own post high school, so being on my own is out of high school, is essentially what we're saying. So, how being on my own has has grown my relationship with God and made the decisions I make throughout my life easier. So,
what do you mean by easier?
To their perspective, like, if you can figure out, not necessarily figure out, because you're never going to have like a set moment where you figure everything out, but if you like striving and taking actual steps to grow your own faith and like actually understanding what your faith is, it will like, and you like give the decisions you're making in your life to God, like these are God's decisions, this is like what God wants for me in my life, then you like, that made it easier for me in my life.
I see. Very good.
Yeah.
Was that well received?
Yeah. So I was actually I didn't know if it was well received or not. Because once again, zero participation.
Right.
And so I was kind of not necessarily insecure about like, oh, how was it received? What did people think about it? And after I went golfing on Tuesday, I was having dinner with my buddy, and he was like, well, as long as like if one person like took something away from it, then I would say it's a success. I was like, yeah, actually, that's a good way to look at it. And so then like Wednesday, I was on Instagram.
What's it?
Find it.
Incredibles guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
The bad guy from Incredibles.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but
So the first thing I said is that I am not an authoritative person in this. We are equals. We are at the same point in our lives, basically. You guys don't know what you want to do with your lives. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I just know that God is in control. Syndrome. Yes. And so it was cool because I hope they realized that I was not like all-knowing, powerful over these people.
Yeah.
I was like, we are at very similar spots in our lives.
Right.
I'm just 1 year out of high school.
Yeah, I think you're just like giving them perspective they don't have, but like not like crazy.
Oh, so
You're
yes, back to my point. I remember what I was trying to make the point about. I was kind of just rambling while you were looking up Syndrome.
Oh, sorry.
And so it's not something like I hope the perspective was given in a way that they haven't seen before, because that was also a goal, because it's something you can't understand until you're out of high school.
Yeah, I would say I lived in kind of like a fantasy land of like what I thought would be. I was even thinking about this at work yesterday. I was like, this is not in a bad way, but I'm just like, I was thinking back to like being in school and just like kind of thinking about like what do I want to do, And I was just thinking, like, life in general is just not exactly what I thought it would be.
No.
But it's okay. Like it's okay. Like there's reality. And I think like there's always gonna be anticipation of things, and it's gonna be thought. So yeah, I think like the only way you learn is the only way you can teach is if you're at least one step in front of someone else. So it's not like a bad thing. Like there are ways that we're like one step in front of, like what we talk about might be like one step in front of someone who's listening to this. But it's not like we're trying to say we know all. We just like have experienced this like to this point. And so like here's like this bit of information and perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how everything works. Like if you want to learn something on YouTube and you like look up like how to have a better weekly eating or something like that.
Okay.
You just gotta find someone who's like done it for a month or like so they're like really like they're like one step in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't necessarily have to be like the best of the best at like something to teach about it, and I think that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah. Agreed. Word.
If you had to say something about what you were trying to say that you didn't get to say, whoa, do you have anything? Like maybe for the listener?
Something that came up in my mind that I did not want to bring up, but like it was after I was done, but I was kind of just talking with the people that were there. Was that the more you grow spiritually, the more you'll recognize how the enemy can get to you. And, like, it's not always going to be in the way you think.
Mm.
So, like, for me, I know, and I'm not going to share, but I know how, like, I know when the enemy's, like, getting at me. Like, I can recognize that now. And that's through the grace of God, 100%. And because I am growing spiritually, I'm learning more about God and spending time in His Word and spending time with Him. And so, like, I can recognize that, and I kind of wanted to say that, but then I didn't end up saying that.
That's okay. I mean, yeah. I think you said it pretty good there. I don't know how it would have came out.
Yeah,
at the time.
Right.
I don't have a whiteboard with me, but I'm gonna air write this word. Vulnerability.
Oh.
Good or bad?
I'd say it's a great thing. I think vulnerability is the key.
No, I only said that because you said I'm not going to share.
Oh.
I
figured. That's why I almost did it. But
no, I would agree. I guess speaking of yesterday, it's a good time to transition into that. Chris and I were baptized yesterday.
It's true.
It was a good day. Long time coming. We denied ourselves, we died to ourselves, and we were raised again with Jesus. And it was a public demonstration or public image of what we've believed.
Inward commitment.
We believed in Jesus, at a young age, and as we've grown up, we've been able to stay in Christian circles and like learn about Him. But as like kind of tying into what we were just talking about, like with being out of high school and growing with God in our own relationship, that's led us to the point of wanting to be baptized and show that to the people we care about. And we've even made a video about it so that you can tune in on YouTube.
It will be out.
Yeah, it's not out while you're listening. Well, maybe like down the road, but like if you're immediately listening to this, it's not out yet. It will be. We're excited. Chris and I gave testimonies. We talked about our faith and things that were important to us. And then we were baptized in the lake. It was a lake that we grew up in.
Lake Kijimama.
Yeah, that's what it's called. No, but it's a lake we've never been in before. It's not really a lake.
It's in fact 1 minute from our house, walking distance.
And we weren't even the first people there.
No.
But no, it was cool. It was cool to talk about just what I believe in front of, people that I care about, but also, just to say those words was very relieving and very freeing, I would say. Because we do the podcast, and it's like, we'll talk about it, but at the end of the day, we're just talking to a camera and to each other, and I know people are listening and it matters to me, but to do it in front of people live was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it was very filling to do that. It was very relieving at the same time because I was anxious going into it. I'm not gonna lie, that's something that I do struggle with, and I'm trying to actively go through it and stuff like that. So yeah, God's definitely blessed us. It was my prayer from, I don't really know when I had this, but I think in high school, towards the end, I was kind of when I'm living real life, and I didn't even know what I was praying at the time. I really didn't, but I was like, I want to have an active faith, not a passive one. I don't want to just, claim to believe this and then, not really do anything about it. So, I think that's kind of how prayer kind of works that way. I think you'll want something or desire something and pray about it, and then it'll show up in ways you did not think about. Even what we were talking about with imagining what life will be like outside of school. What's work gonna be like? What's life day to day gonna be like? And it's a little different, but it's not bad. And I think prayer answer to prayer is it's a little different than you thought. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, And it's been good though. It's been good. The process of sanctification is pretty cool because if you are actively walking and seeking to know God more and to learn about Him more, it's not a very, just like anything in life that from 3 years, I'll say from the 3-year perspective, is not very linear. It's very up and down, roller coaster or zigzag, and I think that's even in the pursuit of knowing God more is you're gonna go in a direction and maybe it's just a season of testing where you're gonna be tempted or you might have to undergo some trials, and it's not necessarily this very joyful or happy time, but it's something that is growing you closer if you want to be, and God has the ability to mold you in those moments if you let Him and kind of give that moment to Him. So I think sanctification has been pretty cool. Even we've been in our Bible study that we go to on Mondays, we've been talking about sharing the gospel more, and just for me, I can kind of get caught up in it because I'm well, man, I'm doing stuff I don't necessarily some guys will just go to the grocery store and do that, and I'm I don't necessarily, I'm not both my personality and my time, which maybe that's a problem, but at the same time I'm just thinking about going from who I am now to that, and I'm not really that, but so I've been trying to keep it on my mind as far as day-to-day encounters, if I am at the store, is there opportunity, so whatever, but then that's something I've been anxious and overthinking from time to time, nothing crazy. And then we went to pick up pizza last night after the baptism and got showers and everything. And
we showered and then went and got the pizza, if anyone was curious, because it was interesting how you phrased it.
Okay. And I see a guy who I used to work with at one of the restaurants I used to work at. My first job, actually.
Which we will never be going back to after an experience on Thursday.
Yeah. And I was kind of oh, shoot. And so, I didn't, he was out at his car, and, I was walking in to get the pizza. And sometimes if I see someone I know, I'll just, kind of walk and wait for them to introduce themselves if they want to, Because I do like talking, but at the same time, I'm kind of just kind of like,
Yeah.
Reserved. But he's like, Henry, like, what's up? Like, just got off the shift. Like, he's still working there. And I was like, he's like, what's new with you? I was like, well, man, I just got baptized. He's like, awesome, praise. Like, he's like, it was an interesting conversation. I'm not going to say every single word from it. But I invited him to church, like, without really overthinking it. Like, that's kind of, I would say, like, what do I struggle with the most? Like, I overthink things, like, too much, make things too important. Because I think I'm afraid if I don't overthink them, then I will, like, treat them as unimportant. But really, by overthinking, I'm making it unimportant enough to, like, do something about it.
Yeah.
That's like a little paradox thing. But anyway, it was just like, okay, like, I don't know, I just felt kind of like this ability, I guess, or just like kind of freedom to be like, yo, I just got baptized, like, come to church. I don't care. Like, it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It was cool. So, I'm trying to think back. So we got baptized yesterday. And so a thought that came to my mind was very, like, this has been a thought in my mind for maybe, like, I guess baptism and, like, the whole faith thing has been, like, a process for me. Like, I'd say it became serious 6 months ago, I'd say, maybe 7. Wait, how long ago?
I mean, 6 months ago was November.
Yeah, so then about 6 months ago is when it started to become, like, serious for me, and then I'd say a couple months before that is when I really started to learn more about actual faith. And so I would say it was evident in what you were just talking about and last night that you are seeing things and remembering things from, like, a long time ago, like when you were, so you had some thoughts from when you were, like, a freshman in high school, and now you're going to be 4 years removed from high school this next year. And so, like, that's 8 years time.
Yeah.
And, like, for me, it's been, like, it's basically really only been 6 months. 10 months, maybe. Like, at the most.
Of being out?
And just, like, my thoughts and, like, the changes in my life,
Oh, just, like, being thoughtful towards that?
Right.
Okay.
And so, like, for you, it's, like, it was, like, almost, not necessarily, well, obviously, like, a lifetime for both of us, a lifetime, but, like, yours was, like, years of just, like, finally things, like, becoming fulfilled and, like, realizing that, when mine has been, like, very short term and very present, very in the moment. And so, I don't know, it was just, I think that's a node to our characters. Our character.
A node?
I think so.
What is
I have no
node?
idea. I think it's like
a nod?
No.
Because you just nodded
I did
after
nod.
saying node.
A node.
And then said no about it being nod.
It's just like a...
Tip of the cap?
Yeah.
Salute?
Yeah.
An acknowledgement?
An acknowledgement to, like, our characters.
Let me look up the definition.
Node. N-O-D-E. Node.
Yeah, I can do that.
I just think that it was a good representation of who we are as people. And I was very excited to go about the baptism yesterday.
The intersection of a point at which lines or pathways intersect or branch.
Okay.
A central or connecting point.
Okay. I'd say a node would not be a central or connecting points.
No, I think it's like this, like an intersection, like a cross.
No, but, like, the node connected our points.
That's true. I think acknowledgement probably.
Yeah, representation.
Word.
Yeah. And so.
Just in the respect that I think about things more.
Yeah.
And you are more of a free
Slinger
spirit.
Yeah, free spirited. I like that slinger from the hit thing. I might have to use it more. I don't know. You said a lot, and I'm trying to respond to all of it because I had a lot of thoughts in the midst of what you were saying.
Here or yesterday?
No, here. You went like a 6-7 minute like straight, and I was like, I had like a lot of thoughts come up, and I don't really remember the last thing you said, but I did have something to say about it. I'm really surprised that I pulled out the whole like character development thing just now, but yeah, I think it was a good time. Getting baptized yesterday, I really enjoyed all the people coming out, and then
yeah, it was good. Feel alive
and
refreshed,
born again.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Sharing the gospel. No, I think it was it is more of a purposeful thing when you make it that, because like, I know, once again, I've mentioned this, maybe not on here, but like with you or at Bible study, like when you're not at work and you're not at the same place all the time, when you don't have a direct schedule, you have to, and this is kind of how I started my speech, you have to put priorities places, right? And so like spending time with God needs to be a priority in your life once you're out of like that schedule every single day. And so I see there's more purpose when I go out in life.
Yeah.
Like when I go out in my day-to-day life, like if I just have to run an errand or I go up to the coffee shop or different stuff like that, like oh, there's purpose there to grow the kingdom, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to make that the priority. That's just my life. So, yeah, I think sharing the gospel school, I think like you, like if you can do it, because I like to talk with people before, you know, like relate to them.
Sure.
I guess, like get to know them some if it's a random person. Kind of just like ask them if they go to church. Ask them, you know, different questions like that.
Yeah, to me, like, I'm kind of I can be all or nothing with some things. So, if sometimes my intention, if I'm like, because I've even noticed this with real estate. If, like, I want to talk to someone about real estate, like, I'd rather just go up and talk to them. But sometimes you do have to have that, like, introducing conversation. But then it's like, okay, if I'm having this conversation, I get to know you, and then I'm like, okay, I bring up the thing that I'm really trying to talk to you about. Then I feel like...
You feel bad about it?
Yeah, I do. I feel kind of like a...
hypocrite?
I don't know what it would be. Just like disingenuous. Because it's like, oh, that's what you're... But I mean, I'm not really that type of dude. Like, I don't know if... Like,
that is 100% self, like, reasoned.
Yeah.
I don't think, like... And that's, once again, from, like, experiences in my life. Like, that's 100%, like, self-perceived. And, like, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh, this person didn't actually care about what I wanted, like, what's going on in my life.
I mean, that was a very general statement. And it's not like I have this, like, whole pool of experiences that I'm, like, talking about. Like, this is, like, a few times.
Right.
And mostly with real estate.
That doing your job?
Huh?
That doing your job?
No, I'm doing my job.
People about real estate?
No, I'm doing my job. But I'm saying, I was meaning with the, like, we're talking to people about God.
Right.
So.
A simple question goes a long way.
How are you?
What are you doing with your life?
We are not equals. Start every conversation with
we should put that on a shirt.
We are not equals.
We should not put that on a shirt.
Just like the total opposite of like all the movements that have been like publicly or politically correct.
We should make that into a short.
What if that did happen? Like, what if by some weird thing, like, it started being popular to like go around like saying that, like, I'm better than you.
I mean, it kind of already is, you know, but like
in your face. Yeah, no, I'm saying like, like signs like,
Young Bucks podcast is better then
No, I don't mean that. I mean like every person.
Like individualism.
Yeah, like how people are
like if we go over to the people that are fixing the roof next door, we're like, I am better than you.
Yeah, but like everywhere. Like that was everybody's at like that or that like the just how there's like political movements and stuff.
Yeah. What if that was one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down. I'm game.
Or if it was the opposite of like, you're better than me. Like just like.
Well, that is the movement right now. I think, right? That is kinda.
I mean, it is a mix of both.
Please.
No, but I mean like, nah, that would be kind of stupid.
I kind of want to like end this discussion.
I do too. Speaking of stop signs.
We're bringing back the draft.
Oh, but this actually is this is your second to last episode before you're gone.
It is.
So eat it up.
Eat it up. I mean.
Do you have anything to say? Like, have you been preparing anything new this week?
No, I haven't. I got a new suitcase.
Oh boy, I guess he's going to get it. I don't know. It's more of a body bag actually. So I don't know. Watch out, parents, if you're sending your child to the. No, I'm just kidding. They might like Chris is a great guy. I promise. He'll probably have his backpack most of the time. Didn't you say you zipped yourself up in this?
Yeah, I did. I did zip myself up in this bag. Don't break the bag.
Oh shoot!
My headphones. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, this is my life now, guys. I'm gonna be living out of this bag for 12 weeks.
Amen.
No, I can do laundry. There's laundry there. I figured it out.
Excuse me.
I did figure out though that I do have most Saturdays off.
Amen.
To do like laundry and like get ready for the week and stuff. So you might see me on if I can figure out a way to get on the podcast. I'm going to figure it out.
Just hold your phone on Zoom.
I could do that.
Yeah, well, I've been brewing up some thoughts on what I think I'm gonna do with the podcast while you're gone. So
that'll be good.
I'm gonna try not to ruin it, but I'll see what I can do.
Do your worst.
Your best?
No.
We're not equals, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Well,
speaking of bags and stop signs.
Yeah, I think there's a stop sign somewhere in here. And speaking of stop signs, it's time to stop this episode.
It's been the Young Bucks Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Be on the lookout for videos in the future.
Episode
Peace.
104.